What's up, YouTube, and welcome back to another Division 2 build video. In today's build video, we are actually going through a build for the new, or not new, but the global event, Hollywood. So for Hollywood, the way this works is enemies have a shield around them, and they take more damage, essentially. You'll notice that your hits whenever you're shooting a shielded enemy have a negative downwards arrow showing that your weapon is doing less damage than normal. So to remove this, we need to do one of three things. We either hit the enemy with explosives, we hit them with an EMP, or we use our specialization weapon. These three things will cause the shield to go away, and we can do our normal damage to the enemies. Now, with that being said, we are going to be using the gear set Tip of the Spear. We're using Tip of the Spear because, well, this is a gear set focused around our specialization and just weapon damage in general. So as you can see, with the 4-piece of Tip of the Spear, we get some 20% signature weapon damage, some regular weapon damage, and we get our talent Aggressive Recon. Getting a signature kill will give us 15% signature weapon damage for 10 seconds, along with a 25% reload speed, which this doesn't stack. And with this, we also get an auto regen of signature weapon ammo every 60 seconds. So it's not like before where you need to wait for enemies to drop it. We will constantly be getting some regen on our specialization, so we can constantly use it and remove these shields. Now, with the gear set, we are using both the chest piece and the backpack. Reason being is the backpack will give us 50% weapon damage after we fully deplete our signature weapon ammo. So once we use all of our signature weapon ammo, we'll get an extra 50% weapon damage for 15 seconds, which is pretty cool and obviously sounds very powerful. And with that, we also get double the amount of our signature weapon ammo regen. So we'll get more ammo more often. Now with the chest piece, we get an increased weapon damage, or rather signature weapon damage. It goes from 15% to 30%. So we're doubling up that signature weapon damage, and we even get some more ammo regen after every third kill with our specialization weapon, which is pretty awesome. We want as much of that ammo as possible to be removing those shields off of the enemies. Now, with that being said, we are using the gunner specialization. The only reason why I'm using the specialization is because it's my favorite. It fits well with my playstyle. I tested the other specializations with this gear set, and they work depending on how you make the build, but I found myself being most comfortable with gunner. I found it very fun, and it's just, like I said, my playstyle. So you can pick your signature weapon, adjust how you will, but this was my go-to right here. Now, as far as the weapons, we are using the St. Elmo's engine. Main reason being, well, this is pretty much a meta weapon, right? I'm pretty sure most builds in modern times in this month of December 2023, you're probably going to see most builds using the latest exotic weapons because they are extremely powerful. So there you have it, St. Elmo's engine, and as a secondary, using the lefty pretty much for that talent. Perfect Sledgehammer gives us an extra 40% damage to armor and negative 30% movement speed to enemies hit with a grenade. I am not the best at aiming grenades, so I do try. They hit here and there, but you know, I try to use it as often as I can when I remember during the gameplay. I tend to get more caught up on using my specialization and my EMP to remove the shields rather than my grenades. But with the gear set, we are also rocking the Picaro's holster. Now, these two parts, I feel like it really depends on the specialization you're using, weapons you're using. So for this, I'm using the Picaro's holster. And just for those that extra core, we're getting that red core and a blue core. The blue core we're going to need, especially with the gunner. We're out in the open, we get armor on kill, we need to kind of survive as much as we can. We can't really do much from cover with the gunner compared to other specializations, so this helps us out here. And then we are using the Grupo Sombra knee pads just to round out our crit chance, crit damage, just to bring everything to decent numbers. And I will show you the stats here. We're sitting at 47% crit chance. I feel like that's good enough. Some people might want to reach over 50 or even might want to reach the 60% limit. I felt pretty comfortable using the 47% with 152% crit damage. If I could somehow move that 2% crit damage over the crit chance and kind of get me at 50%, I could, but I obviously cannot with the gear that I have. Now that's the gear, that's the weapons, and I didn't mention the sidearm. Sidearm, honestly, you can use as whatever. I usually throw on whatever I need to bring proficiency to, so for now I'll probably use the orbit just to bring up that proficiency. And now our skills. I'm using the defender drone mostly for when I have gunner out. Now, I may sometimes forget, as you'll see in the gameplay, but this is mostly to keep me alive and give me some sort of survivability while I'm just out in the open, not really holding cover with gunner. And I am using the EMP sticky just for those quick moments where I want to use my St. Elmo's engine, and obviously I'm not hitting as hard, so I want to remove shields as fast as possible so I can just melt through the enemies, because I most likely don't have any ammo for my specialization at the moment. But this is the gear set. I don't think there's anything complex I need to get into. This is kind of plain and simple, to the point, just a gunning build where you just remove shields and just gun down the enemy. Pretty simple, pretty easy. I'm sure the other specializations will require much more thought, much more, I guess, maybe a higher skill level player or anything of that nature. It's just very niche things, I guess, depending on the specialization you use, but this is it. Tip of the spear for the Hollywood event. I'm gonna get you into some gameplay of me taking over some control points, and let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What specialization are you guys using for your tip of the spear, if you are using that during this event? And if you're not using tip of the spear during this event, let me know what you are using. You can obviously use some skill builds and focus on explosives and everything like that. So I'm curious to know what other builds people are using for this event, because I need something else. This kind of gets boring, and I kind of want to switch it up and maybe test my skill and not play something that I'm very, very comfortable with, and something that'll give me a bigger challenge. But until the next one, I hope you enjoy.